So my name is Vidushi Shikha, currently studying at Malya Aditi International School. I'm going to the 11th grade, AS levels in AICE. Initially, I used to think of it as, a sort of tool that I could use to go and create things, to go and help me check some of my work. And it used to be an abstract concept to me. Artificial intelligence, wow, that's scary. I'll leave that alone and just use it for what I need. However, this program, it's done a lot for me in terms of building that sort of appreciation for what goes behind it and building that sort of knowledge base that it takes to go and create AI. After this program, it's more than just, a tool which I use. It's more than just a resource which I have available to me. It's something that I can build, and it's something that I can use to go and build more things. And I think that's the one main thing which I've learned from this program about AI. It's that it's not just something which we can use to go build, it's not just something we can use to go, get menial work done. It's something that we can, extrapolate off of and build stuff that's even greater off of. I think one moment that really stood out for me was when I finally got my code working. I think that's probably something everyone would answer. But when I finally got my code working, I think it was some like 3, 4 a.m. Don't tell anyone I'm staying up that late. I think it was some 3, 4 a.m. I finally got it working. I finally got my models working. And I was so excited because this was the first major milestone I'd made in my project. And it was the first tangible thing that I could show. And I chose a relatively ambitious project because nothing like it has been done before. And so I'd have to start from scratch. And although I'd had some tools to help me, and I had a lot of mentors and friends who were 100% willing to stay up that late with me, I think this is that moment when I finally got my model working and getting the output which I needed was what sort of made it click, what sort of made the whole long, arduous process worth it, just seeing that output. So my project is an application called Sambhav, which means possible in Sanskrit. It was inspired by my cousin Priyanshi. So she stays in rural Bihar, and she was recently diagnosed with dyslexia. And it's been quite tough, namely because there's a distinct lack of resources available, especially in rural areas. Almost 1 in 12 students could have dyslexia or dyscalculia, which is, struggling with math. In India alone, that's almost 35 million students, most of which would go undiagnosed. And so having a lack of resources for such a big group of students. So how it works is, so there's 2 main parts to my project, a vocal training AI agent coach. There is a gamified portion. Currently, we're mainly focusing on the the voice agent part. So the vocal training coach works sort of like this. This is my favorite example to use. You have the voice training agent and you have the child. So what happens is that it works sort of as a conversation, as that's what helps students connect to the coach. So the training agent first says, "Hi, let's get started. Do you mind pronouncing the word on screen?" For this example, we'll take the word as banana. So the student says, "Okay, sure." Let's say they pronounce it as panana. So instead of banana, panana. It takes that audio input, it pre-processes it, puts it into a nice standardized format. It performs a comparison. Then it takes this and it puts it through an LLM saying, "Hi, I think you've said pa instead of ba. I think there's a mismatch going on here. How about you try saying this instead?" Hence, instantly providing feedback to what the child has said. No, ifs and buts. It adapts to what the learner's saying. And of course, the child will retry and they'll keep building off of that. If the child gets it correct, next question. If the child gets it incorrect but then correct, then it builds off onto a similar question. So overall, it works like a conversation. It works like an actual tutor's there with you. It works so that the AI ends up connecting with the child and that real lasting, memories can be built and that bridges can be connected. This fellowship's helped me grow a whole lot more as an individual than I thought would be possible in such a short period of time. I've learned a lot, I can implement a lot more things, I know how to vibe code, I know how to, iterate, test. It's built those skills for sure, but, the mindset of how you approach a problem, whether you, search for nails and then find the right hammer for it, or whether you build a hammer, it's really just helped me in that entrepreneurship mindset. It's helped me develop those types of critical thinking skills. It's not just about the idea anymore, right? It's about the problem. It's not just about the solution you want to build. I want to build Sambhav. I have to build Sambhav. It's how do I make Sambhav the best that it can be? How do I get that job done? How do I make that solution? How do I get what I need to do done? Because obviously I came in here thinking I do everything. Obviously I came in here thinking, oh, I do the video game bit, and then maybe the vocal AI. And then I realized, oh, but the vocal AI has, the best impact. It's really that sort of approach to thinking about the solution, that approach to thinking about the problem and solving the problem, as opposed to, the process of solving it, that I think it's really helped instill in me.